Thank you very much for that. And hello, good evening to each and every single one of you. I am Michelle Dewberry. This is Dewbs & Co, keeping you company till 7. Alongside me, my panel, I've got Alan Miller, the co-founder of the Together Association, and Sebastian Salek, the Labour commentator. You're a new face, so welcome to you.
Thank you.
And we've not seen you for ages.
No, I'm an old face.
You're very welcome back, yes. And hello to all of you at home. What's on your mind tonight, ladies and gents? There's been so much going on. You can join the conversation in all the usual ways. You can email me, gbviews@gbnews.com. You can go to the website, gbnews.com/yoursay, or of course you can tweet or you can X me. Now, we've all seen what has been unfolding outside of not just one hotel now, multiple hotels that have been earmarked for asylum seekers. Well, I just want to take you over to Essex because the Chief Constable of Essex Police, he's given quite a long, lengthy press conference this afternoon. Let's just take a listen to what he had to say.
I want to thank the people of Essex. I also want to thank all those who have turned up to protest and express their views peacefully and lawfully, because there have been many of those. I've seen the pictures, I've read the commentaries in the newspapers that have been made to many of you about people who feel firmly about an issue that concerns them and have expressed that well, peacefully, to make their views properly known. What has been unacceptable has been the people who have come to Epping and committed violence, who have attacked people who work at the hotel, who have attacked officers, who have damaged property, and who have caused fear and disruption to the people of Epping. That is not tolerable. It will not be tolerated. And to that end, we have made 10 arrests. A number of those people have been charged. A number of those people have been remanded in custody for serious offences.
Well, I've got to tell you that that chap himself, he's come under the line of focus today because people like Nigel Farage, they're actually calling for that fellow's resignation. They're suggesting that actually these counter-protesters were somehow bussed in to that protest. That is a claim that the police force actually deny, though they did go on to say that actually they had apparently bussed some people out. Let's cross over to our home and security editor, Mark White, to help us understand and unpick what on earth has been going on. Mark White, over to you. Hello.
Good evening. Yes, the reason that Nigel Farage has called for BJ Harrington to resign is that he believes his position is untenable because of the command decisions that were taken by those police commanders on the day last week when the protests were taking place outside the Bell Hotel in Epping. Remember, of course, the protests were as a result of an asylum seeker at that hotel having been arrested and subsequently charged with alleged sexual offences against young girls, something that he denies, but of course it's going through the court process. But a lot of concerned and angry people in that community. There was already a significant protest, a potentially volatile and angry protest outside the Bell Hotel. But on that day, commanders from Essex Police allowed a counter-protest with these self-styled anti-fascist, far-left protests to come and effectively escorted them. They've described it as monitoring them. But look at the pictures, judge for yourself. That's escorting them right up to the heart of where that other protest was taking place. Now, the Chief Constable says, of course, what they always try to do is to facilitate lawful protest. And that's absolutely right. Freedom to protest is a fundamental right, but it's not an absolute right. And if there is a risk of significant violent disorder, then the police can put conditions on a protest group. They do it all the time in London. The Metropolitan Police will impose conditions on a certain protest group, stop them going down Whitehall, for instance, going to a certain location, and they will only allow two groups, opposing groups of protesters, to be anywhere near each other if they know they've got significant numbers of police officers to be able to keep the two opposing sides apart. That clearly didn't happen in this instance. A commander made the decision to allow these counter-protesters to go to where this other protest was taking place. But very quickly, when the the situation really deteriorated into violent disorder, it's clear there were not enough resources there to keep both sides apart. So they ended up in taking them out by busing these police vans we can see here, taking them back out at a rate of knots, getting them out of harm's way. And the optics of that look absolutely terrible when you've got communities that at the moment are often quite distrustful of the police, talk of two-tier policing and a belief that they favour one side over another. Well, this does nothing but cement that belief amongst many when they see this. And BJ Harrington, when he was asked repeatedly about whether decisions could have been made in another way, whether they could have kept the two sides further apart, just said he couldn't comment on this. Well, if the chief constable of the force responsible for making those decisions believes it's not his position to comment, I'm not sure whose position it is, Michelle.
Absolute mess. And help us understand something, Mark White. So when you were just talking then, you're absolutely right. We were showing the protests, the protesters that were getting escorted by the police officers. Now, a number of them had their faces fully concealed, whether that was scarves or whatever, hoods, you name it. You couldn't see their faces. Many people have been asking, is that legal to do that? Are you able to rock up to a protest, irrespective of who you are and what side you're on, all the rest of it, and conceal your identity in that way? Like, look at that lunatic there with the blue scarf or whatever it is, the sunglasses, the cap. Are you allowed to do that?
Well, that's a very good point. And under law changes, actually, after lots of disorder a couple of years back, it's now a power that the police have under the Public Order Act to order people, if they impose that particular condition, amongst the conditions they can impose, such as you can't get within a mile or so of the other protest, they can also order people to remove those coverings. But it's clear, that those counter-protesters, as well as, of course, some of those who were taking part in the main protest outside the hotel, had their faces covered. They're agitators that were there on both sides. But for this particular self-styled group of so-called anti-racists, what they do is it's organised protest. At any time there is a protest that may be a protest against asylum-seeking hotels, they will mobilise, get there, and their sort of function, if you like, is to confront, is to shout at those other protesters, shout them down, call them racist, call them Nazi scum, whatever it is. But it does nothing other than, of course, just elevate the tensions around a protest. Now, that's all fine and can absolutely form, as we say, part and parcel of protest, vociferous but lawful protest. But if you don't have the police resources to actually manage both sides and keep them apart, why on earth are you making command decisions to bring that other group into the main body of protesters, knowing that it's going to really up the ante and just stoke the tensions even further?
If you're a US resident, let's face it, things feel uncertain right now. America's national debt, over $36 trillion and climbing. Inflation, still eating away at your savings. And the dollar, down nearly 8% this year, with more countries walking away from it. Meanwhile, the markets, one day they're up, the next day, trillions gone in a blink. So it's no surprise people are asking, where can I actually put my money and sleep at night? That's why more investors are turning to gold and silver. Gold's up over 24% this year, smashing records and soaring past $3,300 an ounce. And some analysts say we could see $6,000 gold before the end of Trump's term. And silver, it's heating up fast, driven by demand in tech, solar and defence. Some analysts say it could double in value this year. If you've been thinking about moving part of your IRA or 401k into gold or silver, tax and penalty free, our friends at Priority Gold make it simple. They're endorsed by Rich Dad's Robert Kiyosaki, ranked #1 by Forbes and Financial Services Review, and trusted by thousands of everyday Americans. Right now, GBNews viewers can get a free wealth preservation guide from Priority Gold. It shows you exactly how to add real gold and silver to your IRA or 401k tax and penalty-free. Step-by-step plain English, no pressure, just smart information you can act on. Just scan the QR code, click the link in the description below, or if you're a US resident, text WEALTH to 24999. That's WEALTH to 24999 and claim your free guide today. The price of gold can go down as well as up. Past performance does not indicate future performance. Only invest what you can afford.
And in case you're listening on the radio, we just ended that piece there with some pictures of the protesters, mums basically, with cardboard signs, I guess you'd call them. I'm not far right. I'm worried about my kids. Make Epping safe again. That's their request. Let our children just be safe. Mark White, before I go, actually, very quickly, what's going on in Canary Wharf?
Well, Canary Wharf, you remember, of course, there were the rumours yesterday that actually those in the Epping Hotel, the Bell Hotel in Epping, were going to be moved out of there and into Canary Wharf because of this planned protest at the weekend. We're told that that's absolutely not the case. They're staying put in the Bell Hotel in Epping. But Canary Wharf has been requisitioned by the Home Office at a very significant price, £81 per room, 400 rooms, £32,000 per week is the cost, per night, I think, actually, is the cost. It's a very significant cost, and it's there as a contingency for the summer surge that we're about to see across the channel, when at times 1,000 a day will cross, and it gets all clogged up at Manston, the main processing centre. They need to then get them out to bigger locations like this Britannia Hotel in Canary Wharf. So that's why that's been bought over, but highly controversial as well. It's a big hotel right in the heart of the banking district there that's important to the fabric and that banking community and the people around there.
Mark White, Home and Security Editor, thank you very much for bringing us up to speed with the day's goings on. Right, a quick response from both of you, and then I'm going to get this into this a bit more after the break. But Alan, your thoughts?
Well, people are very right to be worried about two-tier policing and judiciary. I believe in the right for everyone to protest, but there's judgment, particularly in command and control. I find it highly ironic that this particular chief is talking about free speech, seeing as they've got one of the highest rates of arrests for the Online Safety Act, 1,530 people in the last 18 months, as well as one of the lowest success rates on crime. He's talking now, he's under pressure about free speech and the rights of people to protest. We've seen that some women have been arrested for protesting silently for prayer outside places. The police have got an ability to coordinate so it doesn't create a huge situation. And the public is furious that it seems like some people are treated differently to others. He's also made the point that he's a champion for LGBTQ+ and trans rights. But then he says, I'm not political because we're the police. Well, which one is it? And the public's fed up with being treated that some people's views around things like hotels and migrants and borders and integration are treated in one way, and other people who come in masks or break statues or attack people are treated in another way. It's just not acceptable. Sebastian, your thoughts?
Very concerned about some of the characters who are turning up to this protest. We're seeing reports in some of the papers that there are members of far-right groups, of neo-Nazi groups. We're also seeing violence break out as well. Completely legitimate to protest.
Yeah, but hold on. Aren't you then concerned about people coming up from Antifa as well, then?
Well, I haven't seen that substantiated anywhere. If that's true, then yes. But
so have you seen the far-right people turning up then?
I've seen those reported in the papers. I haven't seen the Antifa report in the papers. That's a claim that Nigel Farage has made, and I haven't seen it anywhere else. Very happy to be corrected, but it wasn't something I saw. The issue is, if you're coming to protest legitimately, which you can do, sexual assault is a terrible thing, you're right to be able to protest against it, be careful about who you share a platform with, because there seem to be some very unsavory
characters. Well, who are the people
there
turning up with balaclavas that are being chaperoned by the police, and why did the police tell us that they didn't do it firstly? No wonder the public's got no trust. But they are not people that you're saying from the far right. Surely they're coming to be counter-protesters, countering what the locals are doing with their concerns. They think they're racist. They've got a democratic right to do so. But that's not the far right. Surely, that's obviously Antifa and the people who are uniting against
look
racism.
at him. Who is that guy on the screen that's got the blue, I don't know what it is, a scarf or whatever you want to call it. I don't care what it is. He's covering his face up. Why are you walking down that street in the middle of that day, escorted by police officers? You are up to, I would suggest, potential no good. Otherwise, why are you concealing your face? Don't you feel concerned about that when you see that, Sebastian?
Potential no good, maybe. We don't know what he's done yet. But what we do know is that a neo-Nazi group is handing out leaflets at this protest, which is incredibly
What neo-Nazi group?
It's called White Vanguard.
Right.
And it's been handing out leaflets. It's been reported in the press, saying, frankly, quite racist things.
I've got to just say, this just epitomises the debate and discussion. You've got locals who are legitimately concerned with issues and their children, and then you have a situation where the police tell us they haven't chaperoned people in. I think they should escort people in a democratic society, but not bring them right up to the actual protest. Then we're told, you're saying that the mainstream press is saying they want to talk about far right. Everyone, Sebastian, is far right now, according to the press. If you've got a concern about hotels and migrants, but they themselves say, Unite Against Racism, the woman in the yellow shirt, they are representatives of an organisation. When you say you don't know who they are, you must be either not been looking at it or being disingenuous. They are from what they call, I don't really call it left and right anymore, from a left organisation that says they're against racism.
The problem is, if you're there to protest against sexual assault and you're sharing a platform with somebody who's handing out racist leaflets...
What do you mean, sharing a platform?
If you are there
what are you talking
them.
about? So if I'm a mother... And let me tell you this, by the way, there's one of these hotels in Hull where I'm from. Some fella there, he's just been sent to prison. Why? For sexually assaulting a mother in the middle of the night. So if I'm there as a woman and I stand on my street corner saying, do you know what, I want my children to be safe, I want to be safe as a woman, and then you're telling me that some potential wrong-uns that I know nothing about rock up, and then they start spreading their message, their truth, their concern. You're now saying that me sharing a platform, i.e. standing on a street corner, I'm in trouble. What are you talking about?
Well, there are also people who, and we don't know who they are, but they are attacking the police. There have been arrests made. Do you really want to be in that environment? Do you really feel safe in that environment?
Do you know what? I don't want to be in an environment, actually, where normal mothers who have a concern about the safety of their children are somehow getting tarred with this brush of being far right and all the rest of it. These
That's
reports
exactly my
that you're
point.
suggesting...
These are separate people, and we have to make that clear.
Yes, but you seem to be convinced of the fact that these are somehow neo-Nazi, far-right lunatics. I mean, I don't know what your evidence for that is, by the way.
I've read it in the papers.
Oh, well, then it must be true then, because I remember...
It's been reported by serious journalists.
Well,
so
I remember it being...
to run with that.
Well, I remember it being reported at the Southport attacks that it was far-right organised crime, and actually everyone with a brain cell could see that that was not true whatsoever. It was just concerned people. And actually, when the inquiry took place, it then became apparent that there was no organised far-right groups. There was no people being bussed in en masse from this organised far-right groups of people. It was nonsense.
But what you have got is local people, and you've got local and primarily working class people that are fed up, and I think have very bravely taken a position, and it was very peaceful during the day until the situation where the counter-protesters come. Now, I want to state again, because some people don't like this, I'm for free speech, I'm a free speech absolutist, and I'm for free democratic protest. I think there are significant errors in judgment, and I think we've got a problem with two-tier policing. But for you to not recognise that the groups who are already saying they're turning up there are from, like, so-called anti-racist groups, and they're calling these protesters, families who are concerned about sexual assaults and what's happening in their community, they're calling them racist, and the press are repeating some of these things, the far right. They've done that. I'll give you an example about legitimate journalists. They've done that around ULEZ protesters, around people complaining about low-traffic neighbourhoods. They call them far right. The BBC has done it and had to retract it. This has become something that the British public is being smeared with. They've had enough of it.
I feel like we're getting a bit off-piste here, but the issue is there are people who are coming from outside to take part in this protest, and I do not think they have the best intentions at heart.
I know, but then what I find quite interesting is that you automatically regard them as far-right. I've just shown you there...
Well, I'm just saying, repeating what I've read in the papers.
I know, but I bet you've read it from the likes of Hope Not Hate, the same people,
no, I've read it
by
from
the
the
way.
Times and from the Guardian.
The same people, by the way,
broadsheets.
that during the height of tensions previously were putting out tweets suggesting that white people were acid-attacking Muslim women, a fact that was absolute nonsense, which, by the way, there was no police action ever taken against those kind of tweets. Anyway, we digress.